Hello and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and Apex Racing TV for this, the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Championship presented by Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me for tonight's action is Marco Barbier. And we're here at the legendary Zandvoort circuit. Marco, this is a proper old school track. It's got elevations, it's narrow, it's a challenge, it's tricky to overtake, and we love it.
Absolutely fantastic to be here, and of course, I think that this is a track that doesn't really scream like GT Racing, even though they hosted, for example, World Challenge competition in sprint. I think they still do, in fact. Certainly one of those tracks where you really like to take your car and drive it around for hours and hours and hours on end. It's simply stunning to drive around here, and these drivers certainly they agree with me. They will not agree in the sense that where they are, of course, in a race situation, it's going to be much different for them. It's going to be tough to overtake, and the narrow sections at the beginning of the lap especially will prove to be probably a turning point for the entire race in that first lap.
Yeah, definitely. We could see some big changes, and of course, once you're in that second place, often we see, particularly in this race, when you've got an hour-long race, there's almost always time, especially with the pit stop, to make up the to get past eventually your rival. Around this place, it's not a certainty. It is tricky to overtake this turn one into Tarzan, which is the one corner I can, one, remember, and two, pronounce. So I will be doing that a lot. But yeah, Tarzan, definitely the best overtaking opportunity for these drivers. For those who aren't aware, we have a about 100-minute qualifying session, as you can, also practice session, as you can see in the top left. That would be too long a
Too long, yeah.
broadcast, I must say. Then we have a 20-minute qualifying session instead, which will be starting very soon, and then we have an hour-long race. In that race, we have a fuel stop. The drivers are limited for fuel, so it is recommended that you do take a little bit of petrol just to get yourself to the end of the event. In the championship right now, Marco, there's been a big swing of momentum. Stein Van Buell, who didn't win any of the first 4 rounds of the championship, had quite an inconsistent start to the championship. In fact, did retired from 2 of the first 4 races, only finished in the top 10 in 1 of the first 4 races. He's won the last 2 though. He's been in absolutely fantastic form and finished second place before that as well. So he's certainly got himself back into it. And now Jack Ashton as well. Both of those guys seemingly taking the horns of this championship. But Van Buell already with a struggling start. If he wants to come back in this championship, he can't afford a bad round. So he does need to score well here again.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he is on a fantastic roll. Let's see if we can find him on the racetrack. Where is he?
Of course,
Is he here with us?
in the plan, the
There he
highest scoring McLaren at the moment, though he's not out on circuit. We should also have some nice cameras as well, which will make these cars look even more dashing than they already are. There's a little bit of a slide for Bod Boland just as he wants to start his lap.
So yeah, going back to Stein Van Buell, I mean, fantastic comeback so far. As we see, there's new cameras. You can see here the perspective of a mosquito, more or less. No, I'm joking. Almost lined up with the helmet. Beautiful work by the camera guy in this case, of course. All the cameras. This is some Inception style stuff here at Apex Racing TV, because you do the cameras and I, move them around.
Yeah.
And you commentate.
A lot of cogs, as would be
Yeah.
said in Incredibles. We're like a big clock.
and based on what I switch, you talk about it, more or less. That's the way it works. So yeah, Sam is really getting. And did you notice that in the latest updates for iRacing, they are constantly putting on new camera packs for their own racetracks, so they know that the competition is very stiff now. So they are scared.
Well, absolutely. I mean, check cameras for gourmet. I shouldn't, or whatever they're called. Shouldn't really be endorsing them. They have been doing some good cameras for a while, but we are getting somewhat close, I think, to that level of cameras as we go into the pit entry. A pit entry, Marco, which I don't know about you. I get nightmares
Yes.
whenever I think of the pit entry here because 2 years ago, and it was yeah, just under 2 years ago, probably about 22 months back, we were commentating on a race for the Apex Racing UK, as they were known back then, now Apex Racing Team event. Peter Berryman driving the race of his life, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, lapping half a second faster than Kroenke at times came into the pits, looked as though he was going to be in second place, had a good chance at beating Kroenke, and locks up his tyre, and he pretty much has the option of either continuing to lock up and hitting the wall or take his foot off the brakes and speed in the pit lane. He chose the latter. He got a penalty, and that was probably Apex Racing Team's or Apex Racing UK's best ever chance at winning a race in the World Championship Grand Prix Series gone. And of course, that's not even a championship anymore, so they probably will never get a chance to do it again. That was a shame at the time, and it's something that these drivers got to watch out for as well.
Yes, absolutely. Very, very. Especially, these cars are quite large, so they need to be super, super careful. Try to see because I remember Janowski racing for Fury, not for Year One. Stupid Marco. Sorry. I was doing some again cleanup work for the live timing, and yes, clearly big apologies to the Fury boys. And that is also quite a unique take on the Fury Sim Sport livery, by the way. Absolutely lovely by Joseph there. But yeah, let's get in with this qualifying. Then, of course, we are in the Netherlands, where there should be, fingers crossed, return of F1 in at the end of the during this season. Of course, track has been slightly updated, but we still have the old version. As you can see there, you can see Steve Myers and Dale Earnhardt Jr. If you look closely at when the cameras reach the final corner. I don't know if you ever spotted them there,
I
Sam.
haven't.
You will see
It's
them
been
now.
something that I've wanted to do. Where are they?
There, those two guys there,
Oh
there
yeah.
in the tunnel.
Oh, I must say I want to include them in every camera pack I do in the future. However, I can never find where they are. I know at Zolder they are about 2 miles away from the circuit. I think Phillip Island they're
Yes.
on a boat. Kota, pretty easy to find them there. They are in the third sector in the little arena that they have around that circuit. But that's quite a simple one as well. I mean, there's some circuits where no one knows where they are. I think one of the circuits they're suspiciously in a children's playground. I don't know if that was modeled on real life. If so, we should all be a little bit worried. But instead, I think the majority of them are really quite difficult to find. And there's a fantastic forum thread as well where there is the hunts for Dale and Steve. So certainly check that one out on the general and off topic forums. Good luck finding it though, because the search function is awful. Jack
Yeah.
Ashton, that is a nice time from him. He's the first driver to put in a lap time.
Forums that also. Okay. Forums that got a little bit of problem the other day. That usually happens when the some threads are cancelled, and you can imagine the reason why. Just a second, because I see that the classes are not showing. So a second. But yeah, Sam, the search function slightly broken, I would say. So whilst I do some background work and extend the timing tower to 25 because I can, yes, I leave the microphone to you for like a couple of minutes. You will see some changes on the timing tower, so hopefully all for the best.
Awesome. At the moment, you can see lots of different colours, and as they now disappear, this is like a commentary, not on the racing, not on the on the qualifying, merely on Marco's production in the background. So this is very exciting stuff. Most exciting round of the championship, perhaps. Anyway, we will concentrate on what's going on out on circuit. Just a little bit of a reminder of the championship. We are on round 8 of this 12-round season. We'll be ending at the end of the iRacing season, which is quite nice. It all matches up and stuff. It is currently Ashton on the top of the championship. I think he's finished second place in the last... Well, he finished second place last time out at Motegi, being beaten by Stein Van Buell, and has been very consistent besides that, has won 2 races as well, has Ashton along with Van Buell, who's currently second place on the grid. Janowski is in third, and Ashley Beard, former championship leader, before a very disappointing Monza round and then a little bit of a disappointing Motegi round as well. He lines up in fourth, and Nick Sherms and Cheese Mushi, you can see the top of the silver jars. Currently top of the bronze jars is Steve Castrop. They're in 12th place, but still plenty of time remaining. 20 minutes to go in this, 14 minutes to go in this 20-minute qualifying session. And yeah, the judge should have plenty of time. So improved currently track is at 24 degrees Celsius, so not too bad grip levels for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You notice some things have changed. I know you were not a big fan of the square numbers on the number boxes.
Oh, I was.
So,
The square ones. I
and
love the square
there has
ones.
been an
Okay.
editorial change with the latest project file. Not by me. Not by me. Not. So you can see now we have the classes there on in a slanted way. You know, let's do something else in the background. But when I can keep talking because as you know now, my experience really is over the top. I mean, now with all these years, I can consider myself one of the veterans, even though not as veteran as you, Sam. Of course, you've been around longer than me. And let's give some life to this timing tower, because why not? For example, woo, is better.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so now the class colors can stand up a little bit more, in my opinion. And if you have
That's
other
very nice.
suggestions, drop me a line in the chat, and you, Sam, of course. If you have something, I will update it as we move along. But now you can see much more distinct the stripe, the time it's slanted. So, back to racing.
Yes. Of course, all the overlay stuff is provided by SDK Games. You certainly check out their website, and you can check out the live timing for today as well in the link below. Just click on that link. Then you might have to click on another link, but you will make it there eventually to the live timing webpage, and that is always very helpful. There you see Clayson's
He has been there
off
for
the
like
circuit.
2 minutes.
Bit like a Assetto Corsa with the cameras, like you were saying.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe some. Okay, either he had to run to the bathroom or he had an hardware failure, because you can see the steering has been left all the way to the left. Hopefully everything is okay with PJ. We'll keep an eye on that. But Jack Ashton is leading the way in front of Stein van Buell. So my point was, of course, this being Zandvoort, lots of drivers can, of course, know this track very, very well. To be their sort of their home race, even though we have, I think, let's see, not a lot of drivers from the Netherlands starting the race today. Here is one of them, Simon van Dijk, of course, racing for the Rev Match team. As you can see, still to set a time. And Janowski jumps up to second then, overtaking Stein Van Buell. Let's see. I mean, I don't think anyone has ever done a camera pack for this car in the last 2-3 years. Sam has done a fantastic job. Great shame that, you know, at the very least, as someone was saying the other day, somewhere, this doesn't look too dissimilar to the latest GT3s by McLaren, so the untrained eye can be easily fooled, you know? But
well, I mean, to be fair, from this from that angle, you could see the
the
McLaren
name, yeah,
MP4
okay.
dash,
That is a
which
very good point. That is an absolutely good point. But you know, from here you only notice the missing of the headlights only when you are told about it, you know, compared to the other cars. But it's a bit of a shame because this is such a beautiful car.
I recommend going to the right, or the left rear camera.
Oh,
There you go. You can see the flames. The
oh,
flame.
look at that!
The gearbox camera is all right as well with that, but you don't quite see as much of
Yeah.
it. But no, we can see a little bit more of the airplane. Feels like you're on fire, doesn't it? It's
Oh
incredible.
man, this is amazing. Okay, we will stay on the McLarens for most of the race, I'd say.
Even if he's last, we're still going to be looking at the rear.
And of course, again, I think now he's back and here to stay, Ruben van Buell, after a very bad cycling accident earlier this year. He has made a comeback 2 rounds ago at Monza, gave it a shot during practice. He was okay with it, qualified, raced, finished inside the top 5 if memory serves me correctly. As PJ Clayson says, come back to the pits and now he has towed back again. I am afraid it's either the crash or some hardware issues. That car, as you can see, let's see from here. No, this is just a mistake. So it should be okay. I thought hardware issues for him, but he's not having you know, a smooth sailing through qualifying.
Nope, at least he is doing qualifying though. Has started this season many times from the back. Also got pole at Daytona, I seem to recall. So had plenty of different pole sitters already this season. Few pole position, at least I think at least 3 already for Stein Van Buell this championship, including a dominant Monza pole lap where you put it on pole by about 0.4 of a second, which is vast in a series such as this. Now watching PJ Clayson's and see how he can cope up the hill. Something that I noticed when driving the McLaren earlier on, you're very upright in the seat. You're very much looking down at the wheel, which is quite unusual compared to the other cars, and he's lost it at the same corner. Not quite the same incident, but we see it time and time again in the World GT Championship, in the Simracersworld GT Championship, Marco, how the McLaren, it seems like even the best drivers, they cannot dial out that random oversteer. And we saw it in particular at Watkins Glen in the first section, Road America as well, at the bends or at the kink there, and maybe at the top of the hill there around this circuit at Zandvoort. That's going to be another trouble spot for McLaren.
It is a characteristic of the car that has been there since release, and every update it seems to get better, but it's still there, unfortunately, for all these drivers. That sudden snap of the car that wants to kill you. By the way, while we are at it, let's have a look at the weather, because no, the weather is great. I mean, 25 degrees on the track. I mean, these drivers couldn't have hoped for a better... Oh. Could that be the new McLaren corner? Because, I mean, even Stein Van Buell has gone around there. So yes, Sam. Track. I thought the track was very hot, but no. Au contraire, is quite cold for you know, iRacing standards. 25 degrees, I'd say almost perfect track condition.
Yeah, could get as high as 35 though by the end of the race, so it might be something for the judges to factor in. Not quite as extreme are the effects of the of the weather though nowadays in iRacing since this new tyre model. as Steve Castrop entering turn 1.
That car is damaged.
It is a bit. I don't know why he hasn't towed back and got a new one, but well, here he is. Maybe he doesn't want to lose the warm tyres. Talk about the sort of bronze drivers though. So, like Felipe Massa, I remember 2011 Spain, where Ross Medley came on the radio, broken the front wing, 3/10 of a second faster. Seems like we found the issue,
Yes.
or found the solution.
Yes, I very well. I have fond memories of all those years because Ferrari either were absolutely, utterly uncompetitive or lost the title in the most painful way possible. So those were the 4 best years of F1 that I can remember. I'm talking about, of course, for the noobs out there, 2010 to 2013.
I mean, to be fair, it's not their fault that they were like born late. I mean,
Yes.
we are fortunate to have been born when we were, or you were particularly fortunate, to see a few more championships than I, so to say. There was that '97 European Grand Prix on the other day.
Yes.
Do you remember watching that live?
No, I don't know why, but no. I remember quite clearly watching the Monte Carlo race from that season. Sorry, from 1996.
Oh yeah, I
Apologies.
was thinking. I mean, I think the '97 race must have been quite forgettable.
I have. I clearly remember Canada '95 watching it live.
Oh yeah.
But back then it was more of a. I was 5, 6 years old, so it was not like. But yeah, 1998 is really when I started getting interested, following the calendar. And 1998 was also the first time I woke up for the Australian Grand Prix, which back then was super early, like 3 in the morning here. So basically,
I mean, that's when you become an F1 fan, isn't it? When you're willing to get up for the early races.
there was a fantastic commercial on the Italian TV as Jack Ashton goes 35311, a fantastic commercial that played just before that race for the first time in 1998, I think it was, and with the legendary piece of music from the Turandot, which was the famous All'alba vincerò. Everyone knows it, no? It was with the Ferrari, no? But that means at dawn I'm going to win. I will win, and of course the race was at dawn, and Ferrari didn't win. But that's another story.
Well,
That
far
was
from it. Well,
absolutely fantastic. A bit of controversy, remember that 1998 Australian Grand Prix. Just a bit.
yes. We're down to the last 2.5 minutes of qualifying, and with the track temperature rising, it's going to be tricky for the drivers to continue improving on their laps. Adam Murray, he can improve though, goes from 10th up to 5th. This is one of the most important qualifying sessions we will have all season long. At Motegi, it was really tricky to overtake, surprisingly tricky. I'd say it was surprisingly tricky. I think everyone's just really evenly matched. No one had a big enough pace advantage to really make a much of a difference. But I imagine around this place we're going to see potentially some trains, because will be very tricky to overtake. By the way, I brokered a deal with Ian Roots, who may well be listening along at the moment, where I did promote Simracersworld event next Friday. Because I'll read their post, because I'm sure Ian's words will do it better than my words. Massive breaking news: as Simracersworld partners with Porsche Sports to create an amazing evening of racing next Friday, and live on Simracersworld TV. That'll be on YouTube. It's an all Porsche multi-class event with a mix of real-world drivers and top sim racers from the community. Make sure you tune in next week and enjoy the show. So check that out. That sounds pretty cool. Some real life drivers going to get some familiar names in the Simracersworld community, and that will be on Simracersworld TV next week. I'm not sure if you can sign up for it. I don't believe you can, but it will still be pretty cool. So do check that one out.
You brokered a deal, so how much money did he give you? What did you get in return?
Well, considering that he usually gives us a grander race to give him a few compliments, it was another 200 quid on top of that one. So 1.2 grand. We are balling, to say the least.
Yes, but all my money then is given back to bribe them to give me commentator of the season. So
I mean, exactly, yeah. It's a no-win situation pretty much for either side.
because
Ian Reitz did controversially say the other day that Marco was the commentator of the season in a Facebook post, which I was disappointed by. I'm not gonna lie. So checker flag is out. Um,
comes Ashton entering Kuma Bocht, which will lead then into Ari Leyendijk Bocht. Of course, Ari Leyendijk, a legendary Dutch driver, winner of the Indianapolis 500 a couple of times. Ashton already flashing his headlights, celebrating like it's the last lap of the race. Who's also on a quick lap? Well, we have Jeremy Essels, here he comes. Will he improve? The answer is no. Ruben van Buell is also in the chicane there. This beautiful McLaren MP412C growl. And also that very, everything is beautiful about this car apart from the font that they used for the dashboard. Which drags
oh, I
were
like it.
going around in walking? I have no idea.
Van Buell, can he improve? Well, he improves by 1 place. Gets ahead of Moretta. 11th place for Van Buell. I think that's his lowest qualifying position since his comeback at Monza a fortnight ago. Still opportunities though for others. Actually, Beard. He is approaching the line. I believe he's a little bit further up the road. However, lots of yellow. Still up to 6th place though. So it was a good lap for Beard in the end. 3rd place in the championship moves up to 6th place on the grid. Adam Murray can't improve. So he will still be the highest starting year 1 driver, I believe. As I believe, have we got Ashton? Ashton is put down as a silver driver, so I'm not quite sure why that is the case. He is a gold driver, so don't take too much notice of that one. Joe Yanowski is top of the silver drivers, it seems, for this race. But good qualifying for Ashton and Van Buell once again, Marco. They are showing they are the class of the field in these qualifying sessions, putting in a very strong lap time. And well, that's the place that you want to be. Going to be an important run down to turn 1, though.
Yes, absolutely. You want to have the preferred line heading into turn one, and then making your car as big as possible, and of course avoid any kind of drama, because that hairpin has absolutely zero runoff area, and you get there after going through a chicane. Basically, it's a recipe for disaster. And here we go with the grid.
Yes, and it is Jack Ashton on pole position. Ends Stein Van Buell's little run of pole positions. He starts in 2nd place, though. Joe Yanowski starts in 3rd. Then it's Dries Mujdi, top of the silver driver. Apologies, I thought Yanowski was silver, but no, it's Mujdi who's top of the silver driver. That's one of Mujdi's best qualifiers of the season. Of course, doesn't live too far away, does the Belgian. Adam Murray, good qualifying for him, starts in 5th. Then it's Ashley Beard. Bod Boland, that's pretty strong for Boland. Only 4.5 tenths off in qualifying. He's usually stronger in the race, so watch out for him. Then it's Neil Cooper. Nick Shermans, who's been in great form recently. James Forsythe as well has got a couple of podiums in the last 2 races. Starts down in 10th, though, for Excite Energy. Or he might be trying for year 1, not sure. Ruben Van Buell starts in 11th. Then it is Chris Moretta in 12th, Roy Vertke in 13th. That's Paul Gosling. Steve Castrop is top of the bronze drivers, a position he held for pretty much that entire qualifying session. Then it's David Fuller, Hendrik de Grave, PJ Claessens, watch out for him, obviously. John Tusting, Stephen de Wolf, Simon Van Dyke, Kim Bahait, John McConville, and Thijs van den Berg. Kempter Winter, Jeremy Hessels, Lewis Ward. Didn't set a qualifying time, did Ward. Hopefully we do see him out there, though. And then we've also got Kevin Bolland, Lee Woodburn, and Pim Bow rounding out the order. 30 drivers out there today as the Mustang pace car. I haven't got too many Fords out there. It's nice to see a Ford at least leading the field, as it would obviously be doing so if there was a Ford driver out on circuit. By the way, for those who might be a little bit new to iRacing, you might be questioning, is this the new Zandvoort? The Zandvoort that has been recently resurfaced, of course, in real life, added a little bit of banking. Of course, iRacing laser scan all their tracks, and so they haven't been able to nip down to the sand dunes of Zandvoort to rescan it. And I doubt they will do any time soon. I think you're going to have to wait for about a decade for that to happen. So get your calendars ready and start getting a red pen out, because you're going to have to do a lot of crossing off of days, unfortunately. But this version of the circuit, Mark, I think, whilst for F1, probably the change is very positive. But I think, if anything, for GT racing, that final corner is much more of a challenge in this configuration. And also, this turn 3 as well is a bit more of a challenge with this configuration. I think it's just as good, if not better, this layout.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's going to be super, super tough. Uh, you don't have the. There is a bit of banking, but clearly not as much as what we have right now in real life. Even though I still haven't seen a full lap yet. I know that Verstappen ran around there with the old car, but I couldn't bring myself to watch that because I wanted the surprise, and also because I missed the V8 engines. So yeah, um, again, this is one of those places where you want to take your car and you want to go out there and have massive amounts of fun. The racing is very, very challenging around here, but I think that it will provide for some absolutely fantastic racing, provided that the drivers know how to behave, and I'm sure they do.
Yeah, hopefully we don't see any first lap incidents. Sometimes we see drivers kind of spin into the inside of the circuit at turn 1. I've seen that a few times. I remember Simracers Asia, famously, I think there was like a 6-car chain and 5 of them got wiped out in one corner. That was in Formula 3 cars. Doubt we'll see anything like that today. And this
That
middle,
race, the famous race, the race that ended that was cancelled because it ended under the lights.
Of course. And there are no headlights on single seaters if you didn't know already. No worries of that today. This middle part of the circuit actually going to be one of the better opportunities to overtake. Very wide entries to each of the corners. And of course, you can see a DRS sign. Which is where one of the DRS zones is around this track. 2 of them, because this place used to be in the World Championship Grand Prix series, like we were explaining earlier on, and it did provide a very good round of the season. A little bit of tyre wear as well, potentially around this track, so maybe the drivers will start to struggle by the end of the race, and perhaps the McLaren more than anyone else is going to struggle. Pinball not taking the start, it seems, so he might be starting from the pits or just not be taking part in today's event. We will see it. You can see a big difference with the even side of the grid making up some time, and they are going to have to back off now. Is Stein Van Buell, because he is not the pole sitter. It is the Audi alongside him, the Fordzilla Audi, which is a little bit ironic in itself. The Audi then moving slightly ahead. The pace car will come into the pits pretty late around here. It's not going to be a long time between the pace car comes into the pits and the green flag is waved. However, once the pace car is in, it is Jack Ashton's responsibility to put his foot down. It is his choice when to go, as he goes straight away, and we are underway racing in the Dynamic Simracersworld GT Championship here
Oh!
at Zandvoort, as we've already got a car off the circuit. I think that may have been Kevin Boland right at the back of the order. Fortunately, not too many drivers. It was Stephen DeWolf, in fact, straight away getting involved in something. No change in the top three as Dries Mujdi, as Neil Cooper's off on the inside, and I imagine that is Clayson's Ruben Van Buell as
Yeah.
well, spinning round in his McLaren. Dries Mujdi hung on to fourth place. He was under massive pressure from Adam Murray going through the first couple of corners. Murray could not get past, and now it is his teammate, Ashley Beard, who's trying to make the move.
Oh no,
Wait,
everyone is speeding!
Oh, and off! And that is Murray and Mujdi and Sherman's. A couple of the big championship runners. Sherman's might be able to get back onto circuit though, as we see what the damage to each of those cars is going to be.
Dear me, that was like someone put some soap on the racetrack. We were worried about that during practice and qualifying, and it came to fruition, unfortunately. Those cold tires really caught a good portion of the field. Oh, as Van Buell has jumped the chicane and into the fence very hard.
Oh, and that's third place as well. Van Buell and Janowski, I think, got involved in something. Oh, Janowski's hit Van Buell, who is slowing. He is slowing. And he might be out of the race. A remarkable start. 7 seconds the lead after one tour of this.
Oh no, Janowski in the fence, and now everyone going to be collected.
Place. Who's going to get through that? Oh, they're still spraying across the circuit. Loads of drivers involved. We might need a pace car out of this one. Flying up into the air. And there is so many drivers involved and blowing their engines up. It's Paul Gossing up into second place. But more importantly, it's the drivers who have been involved in that massive lap 1 incident. And they are still piling in. Stephen DeWolf, who was miles behind at one point, as they all flood into the pits to get some damage repaired.
Have you ever?
Just one driver running wide, wasn't it? He was in. It was Janowski, wasn't it? He was in second place, dropped the wheel onto the grass, spun into the circuit, and after that, Paul Gosling is 12 seconds behind Jack Ashton. The only comparable thing we can think of is Watkins Glen, and even that wasn't on the scale. Let's look at the amount of drivers in the pits. Look at the divide of the circuit.
We have to see a lot of stuff. So let's watch it.
So we might have to go back about 10 seconds. Here we go. It's going to be a shove from Janowski. That was clumsy, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he comes back on the track. But Janowski is very slow. Maybe he wants to give the position, or tries to give, but that is of course a lot of damage. And then I think it's Janowski himself, maybe because he's slow down there, that cooled his tires a bit. And when he called upon his tires in the final corner, he lost it, and it was an absolute free-for-all there. I mean, a couple of cars were sent flying high in the air. They would have jumped even higher than the banner there, and that is absolutely incredible what just transpired here.
So the drivers involved in the lap 1 shunts then. Henrik de Grave, Stein Van Buell, he was involved in one of the earlier ones, wasn't he? Lewis Ward, David Fuller, Steve Castrop, Chris Moretta, Nick Shermans, Bod Bones, Jeremy Hessels, I think he may have gone really flying, Lars Vandenberg, and Joe Janowski. I'm sure there were others as well who have taken tyres since. But here is the current situation. James Forsythe, I mean, come on, mate. How is he always in third place? Third position so far this season. PJ Clayson's, who spun. No, he didn't. No, he was okay on the first lap, to be fair. I thought he'd spun, though, in turn 1. He's got a remarkably clean car. So, too, has Ruben Van Buell, who did spin at turn 1. Van Buell absolutely did. As off the circuit is Lee Woodburn, the bronze driver, and he is in the wall.
That's down the hill, going to the middle portion of the. Oh well, it's the oil on the track corner, unfortunately. Also, let's get a look at that once again, because I mean, they should pay me double because the event viewer is making me go crazy right now. So first of all, we have Neil Cooper with his mistake here, and he will be collected by Ruben van Buell, who hard on the brake. That car is remarkably clean because that was quite a big hit, and then I have no idea what happened here. I mean, yeah, I have many ideas. So unfortunately, these cold tires, and look at the cars bouncing and spinning all over the place. And of course, Sam, if you try to get on the brakes here, you try to avoid the drama. It's even worse because your car gets. It's a lose-lose situation because your car gets unbalanced. You try to stomp on the brakes or make a big correction to avoid smashing into some of these cars, and it's like putting fuel on a raging fire, unfortunately.
Yeah, certainly is the case. So we've now got Ashton still 13 seconds ahead of Paul Gosling. I haven't really talked too much about Paul Gosling. I'm kind of shocking you guys here. Would be his best ever result. Debut season, I believe, for Paul Gosling. He may have taken part in some rounds in the past. 12 places. PJ Clayson has got past James Forsythe. It's up into third place, which is no surprise because Forsythe has got a lot of damage on that year one car. I guess he was did he have to go evasive at the top of the hill on that first lap? Oh, there's almost contact there with Kimber Heights up there in sixth place trying to get past Ruben van Buell. Apologies, that was Mujti just ahead, and benefiting from this is Ashley Beard, who did certainly go off midway round lap one. Only a bit of damage though for him.
A bit is an understatement because I think
compared to the others, all right.
Yes. That
compared to Forsythe,
he has no top speed. Look at that. And Mujdi was spun. Mujdi was the catalyst for that, collective speed.
Sure?
He also
at the
smashed.
top of the hill or the final corner?
No, at the top of the hill, and he smashed so
yeah.
hard against the wall. How is he? How his car is still going? I know he got the tire barrier and not the armco, but still that was a massive hit at very high speed and a very unfavorable angle. The iRacing gods are playing nicely to Dries Mujdi. I mean, I'm absolutely shocked.
Yeah, he looks fine, doesn't he? Still got good straight line speed.
I'll tell you what. No, he also got collected by another car. I mean, how?
Oh dear. Yeah, the year one jazz absolutely left and right there.
So the positive thing is that we have everyone on the lead lap that's still running. The negative thing, of course, is that we have 18 cars left after 8 minutes. And I remember Bathurst last year, for example, or 2 seasons ago. Memory is failing me right now. That was but that was more like a parking lot one, not a. This was a big one, and a big one. But positive thing is, look at these fantastic fights that we are having in the midfield right now, and of course, a very close battle for the lead in bronze. So yeah, let's keep an eye on this. This could be still a very, very entertaining race, especially considering that we have some drivers who are out of position, but on a track where it's very difficult to pass. For example, I'm not so sure that people can get around Paul Gosling easily on the track, for example. He is going to be one to watch, and as he's trying to get, like we were saying, his first ever podium in this championship, and what would be certainly his best result.
Yep, certainly a podium is looking very strong for him. What times is Forsythe doing? He's doing a 37.7, which is about 7/10 of a second slower than I think he otherwise would be doing. The drivers behind him are lapping slower. At the head of this train is Ruben van Buell. Apologies, no, it's Kimber Heights, of course. Van Buell's by himself, pretty much in 5th place. Yeah, behind that is this absolutely massive train of cars going all the way back to John McConville in 11th place. Ooh, as Mujdi under pressure from Murray. Almost an opportunity for the Mercedes there. However, got to be really close to this final corner. It's not quite flat out in these GT3 cars. Going to have to lift quite a bit. No braking, but still quite a significant lift. And of course, if you do dip a wheel onto the grass, it can be very easy to go round. As again, Murray is wanting to go for a move into every single corner, and he may have just scared his rival off the racing line there. But the opportunity wasn't quite there into the next corner. Oh, and now he goes
Oh,
back
here we
again, and
go.
there's contact between the two of them. Mujdi goes into the wall, and that seemed to be coming.
Neil Cooper with the fastest lap of the race in the meantime. He's sitting in P14. Let's get a replay of that. I don't think that there was a space there to go for that move. But then
I think
again,
it was a bit late, wasn't it?
I'm here as a commentator and not as a marshal.
I think whatever the decision the stewards make will be an excellent decision.
Absolutely.
Personally.
Yes, but you are just pandering to them. I have the authority.
I'm not. I'm not.
I have the authority to say that they are right because I am a marshal myself.
It's true. Yeah, but I'm a steward myself. So that's
Yeah.
2 series, Marco.
Where is
two.
your FIA certification? Mine is sitting here on my desk. The 2021, the most useless one I got so far.
When I used to do karting, I had to learn all the flags.
Wow,
Literally, they
okay.
And they say, what does this flag mean? And you got to get 100%. And I nailed it, just like every other child who has ever done that test. So that's my qualification.
Look at Neil Cooper, 36.3. The car in front of him, 40.3. He is super quick. He's actually faster than the race leader. Again, he did the best lap of the race. Neil Cooper hasn't gone to the pits, by the way. So maybe he just got a bit of... well, he's got some damage there. So he got involved, certainly one of the pile-ups.
He spun at turn 1, I believe.
You are absolutely right, and got collected by Ruben van Buwel. In the end, he got away lightly, but as you can see now, someone goes wide. You can see that his rear wing is bent. I just noticed it as he dives on the inside of the stage 1 car and gets the job done. Also, 2 cars who have basically identical damage. James Forsdyke, you see that rear wing there, and Ashley Beard, also the other year 1 car with the bent rear wing. And also I think Adam Murray has a bent rear wing, so the year 1 cars are... and also, well, Driz Mujdi has got... did he have that damage earlier? Did we miss something? Oh, no, of course.
Oh, no, he picked it up here.
Yeah, sorry, well. And the problem is that I have a broadcast done at 2 AM later, so... and I'm already saying stupid stuff at 10 PM, you know? At least Italian time.
What series will that be?
The new AMP E-Series, the official esports series of lovely Atlanta Motorsports Park, the best club circuits in North America. Unfortunately not available on iRacing, but available on other platforms. We are on the esports network, so only, by the way, so we cannot, you know, I'm behaving, unlike Sam, and I'm not saying names of other simulators. Here we go, launching on the inside is Ashley Beard, who has got damage at the front, damage at the back. It's pretty much damage limitation for everyone whose name is not Jack Ashton or Paul Gosling for that matter, or, you know, say PJ Claessens also is in a good position. But apart from that, I can see everyone else having some damage somewhere on their cars. So these 3 guys are here to fight for the podium. Maybe some of these guys can come back at it if they can get good pace and some repairs. Ruben van Buwel car seems to be fine despite rear-ending Cooper. He's got some damage, I think. Let's see if we can get not this picture, but this. Yeah, you can see a little bit bent. You can see the air intake is a bit off shape. But who cares when you have this? And if you want to cook your your dinner, just put your meal in front of your screen and enjoy this glorious camera angle designed by Sam Fitzpatrick. I mean, look at that. Those are the flames of the iRacing hell.
The winter's gone off, by the way. He has been stationary for a while, and we are about to find out what happened to him. That was a big crash. And a lot of steering damage as well, seemingly, and that is not the mistake you want to make to Winter. A decent qualifying. There he was. Oh, well, maybe the BMW covered off that line a little bit late, but De Winter just too aggressive with the steering then. Lost the car into the wall. Mujti seems to really be struggling. We were talking earlier on how clean his car looks, but ever since then he's dropped a few positions and his lap times have been rather underwhelming. Those 7.4 on that last lap, to be fair, is matching the drivers ahead of him. But he is falling into the clutches of Adam Murray currently. Murray lets him back past, did he?
Murray has to give position back to Dries Mujti for causing a collision on lap 7. I don't know, the stewards are slacking tonight and they don't give us the communications on the screen.
Or I would like to just say I disagree.
Or maybe, just maybe, they don't have the. Oh well. For the next, it's partially my fault. I haven't updated the variable access for this round, so we come back for the next. So sorry guys. The stewards are not slacking. I am.
Van Dijk has gone off the circuit now, I believe.
We are. It's on the. It's the guy we are looking at.
So?
I was already focusing on him. You are not paying attention, Sam.
It seems not. That was Van Dijk, though.
Of course it was.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing my job.
okay.
I see his name flashing red, and I switch to him. And he was there coming back from the grass. And I know you, and I know you for quite a bit. When you say driver has gone off, you are secretly telling me switch the camera to that driver.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not secretly at all. Very much, Marco. Get on with it. You have one job to look at the crashes, and you're failing at it again. So that is very much the message behind that.
So Ashton leading the way as we're getting into the 20-minute mark. Still Gosling holding on nicely over PJ Klesets, who has closed the gap, but so far has not been able to get close enough to make the move. As Forsyth and Van Buel are also getting very, very close to each other. So some battles brewing up nicely. Then we have this pack who has broken up a bit of Kim Bahait, Ashley Beard, Roy Verweke. Dries Mujti and Adam Murray are fighting it out as they enter the chicane. Let's go the gearbox of the 277 Audi. Will Adam go for a move? No, the answer is no. So we have a lot of two-car battles now, more or less spread throughout the field. And of course the big question is are the drivers that are, let's say, as we see Van Dijk and the Winter side by side, will the drivers like Claessens and others be able to gain some spots? Because of course we need to be honest with the viewers, and the drivers will be the first to tell you that some drivers are quicker than others. Sometimes just the class, not the class, can tell you that with a quick glimpse. No disrespect to Paul, who's having a fantastic race, but we know that PJ is quicker. Will PJ be able to play his cards correctly in the pit lane battle? I'm also thinking about Neil Cooper trying to get past drivers in front of him, for example. So the pit strategy will be interesting. Will Ruben Van Buell, who's got a relatively clean car compared to Forsdyke, will he be able to jump him during the pit cycle? So lots of interesting stuff to look at as we are heading into the second third of the race.
Yep, and the drivers who have got some damage, of course, are going to have worse fuel consumption than their rivals. A little bit more drag down the straight. It's going to mean that they're on the throttle a bit longer, so they will need longer pit stops, and potentially will have to pit earlier than their rivals as well. I think certainly looking very good for PJ Claessens. Right now, Jack Ashton is really lapping a whole lot faster than them, but I think Ashton absolutely cruising around, which is this is very much a circuit we want to be cruising around to make as few mistakes as possible. As for Stike and Van Buell, where you could just see them in the a moment ago in the background, very nearly making contacts going into Tarzan. And then it got even closer, but Van Buell is all over the back of Forstike at the moment and might well make a move within the next few moments. Still watching this battle with Mujde and Mo, who are catching up to the drivers ahead. 36.8 for Mujde on that last lap. Roy Verke just ahead than 37.2. Beard 37.2. The Heights 37.5. Van Buell 37.4 and Forsyth 37.6. So upwards of 8 tenths of a second faster than the fourth place man. So they very much need to work together in 9th and 10th place to catch up to those ahead, as we've seen plenty of changes already in this battle. Van Dijk, who had a spin a few moments ago, gets back past De Winter, and it is surprising that De Winter doesn't have more damage after that big start, or that big start-finish line crash. Also, a reminder to everyone that on Apex Racing TV on Sunday, we will be broadcasting the Simracersworld Endurance Championship. That will be round 5 of that series. And of course, on Simracersworld TV as well, you can catch up with the TCR Championship on a Tuesday and the Formula 3 Championship as well on a Thursday. And plenty of other stuff as well coming to Simracersworld in the future, including that event that I was talking about earlier on next Friday. Tune in to Simracersworld TV. Going to be a really cool Porsche multi-class event featuring some real-life drivers. So certainly recommend checking that one out, as this train, which disbanded for a while, but just like any very good classic bands, they have reformed and are producing some great action again.
Absolutely, and by the way, we have plenty of stuff coming up, of course. You were talking about the Endurance Series. We have actually a double header tonight, because at 1 a.m., midnight GMT to be precise, we have a special event, the FRP iRacing Challenge at Lime Rock Park. Judging by the thumbnail, there are going to be F3s running around, so that's going to be fun. And of course, at midnight GMT, we're going to have the AMP E series. Lots of stuff, and of course the weekend is absolutely packed full of stuff, including, of course, the Euro V8s at Lime Rock, which is always a fun round to commentate on.
Murray might be able to get past Mushti now. This is around the part of the circuit where he got past before, and he's been much less aggressive than he was earlier on, Murray. He had kind of 3 jabs, I think that's the best way of putting it, to get past Mushti. On the 3rd jab, he made contact with his rival, hence why they are further down the order, had to give up the position eventually. Did Murray. He's trying to get back past. So he's got 4 jabs that he knows he is probably quicker than. Maybe Ashley Beard is a little bit quicker than him. But apart from that, he knows that he is faster than these guys, and he just cannot get past at the moment. But this part of the circuit, like I said, during the formation, that is a place where he can go for a bit of a surprise attack. Maybe he can go for it into the left-hander. No, it wasn't quite the room on the inside, wasn't close enough to go for the dive.
As this, I'd say, quintet of cars keeps on moving together, as they head for the double right-hander of Kumo Bocht and Ari Leyendyk Bocht. Decent lap from Gosling, 37.1, 37.3 from PJ Claessens. Let's check in on the leader in bronze. It is Kevin Bolland. Look at that car, beautiful. I think he won last week, if I'm not mistaken, in debuting his new livery. And I think he's in a good position to bring it on victory lane once again. Closest rival is Simon Van Dijk, 6 seconds back. And then Kevin De Winter, both of them sporting damage. Kevin Bolland car seems to be mostly okay. So certainly he will have a good advantage heading into the rest of the race, as that is should be Nick Schurmans, I think, who is a lofty 10 laps down, but still sitting in 19th position. So looking good for a top 20, considering that there's no one else running behind him. Oh, here we go! Van Buel with a dive.
Forsyth might be able to retaliate here if he sticks it back down the inside. Van Buel seems to have this one managed. Forsyth gets back ahead, but Van Buel with the better straight line speed because of damage and the McLaren as well, and has got the inside line for this next corner, and he does move up into 4th position. So Ruben Van Buel, he started a little bit further down the order. 7th place, his worst qualifying of the season. Looks like it might be his best result of the season still. And he moves up into that 4th place. So bad news for him, he's got 10 seconds to catch up to the next driver up the road. Off the circuit is Stephen De Wolf. And once again, Marco was complaining earlier on, oh Sam, you always give me secret messages that I'm not coming up with the action. Well, Marco, seeing that it's not my job to... Oh, well, in that too, you have just gone to a battle, which I had no idea what was going on. Mujdi sticking down the inside of Roy Ververke. This has taken a while for him to get past. So nearly contact, and that would have been very unnecessary contact as well. Just on the run to that next corner, that not quite straight. And the Audi gets ahead, and he might be able to pull away in pursuit of Kim the Height.
The Wolf already sporting some heavy damage to that car. That is going to do his BMW no favors at all. But
Dave Fuller. Sorry.
Yeah. What about Dave Fuller? Is he back on track? No.
No, anything but. He's on the chat. Dave Fuller mentioning how the pace car seems especially slow, which is very Hamilton-esque, isn't it? The pace car is always going the wrong speed. But he was confused by it. I think he's onto something. At Belle Isle on Friday in the AOSC Championship, I swear
dear.
he was off the circuit.
Leader.
It's the race leader, Kevin Boland. That is the trouble corner, and he's lost the race lead, and he's down into 3rd position in that class. Great shame for Boland. But round Belle Isle, the pace car was painfully slow round there, so may well have been a few kilometers slower than it normally is for this circuit. But yeah, Boland down into 16th place and 10 seconds off the lead, so he had a comfortable margin, was losing time as well, it should be added, as we see, oh well, it's just over the crest, the car goes light, and Then once you get onto the grass, it's very tricky to correct any spin that you have.
You know, I was racing with IndyCar a couple of weeks back at the newly released Texas Motor Speedway, and the pace speed was so slow that basically you could pit, and it was almost a 2-minute pace lap every time on a 1.5 mile track is absolutely unheard of. As Lee Woodburn has had another issue, unfortunately, and he spun around, and I think he decided that that's it for him. Actually, I had to stop racing at a certain point during the week because it was so boring. And it was a caution fest as Kevin... the winter is around!
And has he lost? Well, he was in second place. He's only just ahead of Bolland now. And look at this for Van Dijk, who spun. Fell down to third place out of the bronze category. And has found himself back into the lead again. Absolutely remarkable. The winter should be past then, Bolland, as into the pits is Bahait. This could be a decent strategy for him. I expect the drivers to be able to go quite far as Murray is down the inside of the Verke. Almost contact that very wide Ferrari, of course. But it wasn't wide enough, and the year one driver making some progress but at a much slower rate than I'm sure he would like it. De Wolf is the next to go off at that corner, and he rejoins very near to the second and third placemen.
Yeah, just in front, just behind, sorry, of Paul Gosling, who, by the way, is holding his own fantastically in front of PJ Claessens and resisting under pressure with great style so far. So I guess, seeing that Kim Bahait has come and gone out of the pits, that the pit window is open, there I say 16 seconds in the pit stall, 40 seconds more or less overall, so we will use that as a baseline. These pesky drivers, sometimes the first taker gives us the wrong baseline, it gets too long or too short, and then we are surprised for the several few minutes trying to figure out who was right and who was wrong. But as you can see, quite a lonely picture on that front stretch, as the second and third place driver make their way through Tarzanbocht. Once again, we are super close to the sea, of course. So I guess for many of the drivers who have already parked the car, it's a short hop to some nice, relax. Of course, as you know, I hate going to the beach, so I wouldn't do that.
After all, sand is coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere. Can never quote that too much. Anyone who's got... Do you have Sky Movies, Marco?
Yes, and I will tell to Hendrik the Grave that... oh, Van Dijk!
Oh no!
Is
he going to lose the lead? He is going to lose the lead.
Oh man!
And the Winter's back into the lead. Come on, guys! You don't want to lead the race, just tell us, alright? Or don't take the lead in the first place, because there's only 3 of them left. If it weren't for Lee Woodburn spinning and retiring, he could have led by this stage.
So to ask Hendrik to answer to Hendrik the Grave, you just below the video there is a link in the description where you can find the live timing. Or you can go to apexracingtv.com/livetiming. We have 2 series running at the same time right now, by the way, and apparently I'm very, very jealous because, and also means that, you really need to appreciate what you have here, because apparently in the other series, they're having such a, such a wreckfest that this in comparison has been a squeaky clean race, from what I'm hearing from some Kumo behind the scenes.
We had a bit of a...
That's saying something, because I also was thinking, just trying to laugh on it, because, you have to do that after these things happen. I don't think I remember in the history of motorsport, both virtual and real, a last corner pileup in the first lap. Like we've had many first corner pileups in real life and in sim racing, but a last corner pileup, I think it's a first.
I am racking my brains frantically right now. You'd think there'd be one at Watkins Glen, wouldn't you? I mean, that's a wall on the outside of that track, as Mujdi is down the inside of Beards. Not quite, but Mushi looks a whole lot faster, and Murray looks a lot faster as well, because with the damage for Ashley Beard. And of course, if Mushi can't get this one done quick, then Murray is going to be past him. Get Viverke as well, pretty close, but I think he might be onto something there, Marco. I cannot think of any race which has had a first lap last corner pile up. Certainly, this one will go down in the history books.
So you were asking me about something about movies. So
I mean, to be fair, when I look back on it, I don't think it would have been the most interesting and relevant subject. Mujdi is into the bits. Basically, what I was going to ask you was that if you have Sky Movies, I always find it that there's a Star Wars channel. And I always put on Star Wars, and I spend the majority of my life watching Star Wars just because I just see it's, oh look, Revenge of the Sith is on. And that is why I know all the quotes so well.
I'm a big fan. I've got all the movies of the original and new trilogy, DVD special edition, sitting behind me right now. Also, I could use my mom's Disney Plus account to watch it. You know. So yeah, and of course, sitting on my desk right now, we have my beautiful Darth Vader-shaped alarm clock.
Ah, lovely. When it goes off, does it have the Imperial March on it?
Sadly, no.
Ah, that would make it even better. Although I think you'd grow to despise that.
Exactly. That's what I think about it. So better like this.
Neither of these guys wanted to come in. I'm surprised that Clayton's hasn't perhaps gone for the undercut. Mujdi and Bahait, the two drivers who have come in. Mujdi actually got ahead of Bahait, or Bahait. I think Bahait was ahead before, so I think Mujdi has actually been able to overcut Bahait during the pit stops. They pitted 3 laps separately, and now Ashley Beard is into the pits. It's going to be an important one. Could well have a chance of staying ahead of Dries Mujdi, however, it's going to be a very quick pit stop if he's going to do that, because Mujdi has been in completely clear air, and I do not hold out a whole lot of hope here for Ashley Beard. He's going to need a 15-second pit stop. At least he'll get a tiny little bit of that damage done. It fixed it. It might improve his stat times by about a tenth of that.
Try to see if no, not even. I mean, maybe some tenth of a second of repairs.
Oh,
Between.
is he ahead, Beard? I think he has just stayed ahead. There he is. That is very marginal, and this really opens the door now for Adam Murray to overcut the pair of them. And if Beard wanted to be really sneaky, he could potentially hold up Mujdi just so that his teammate did get ahead of the pair of them. But this is fantastic now for Adam Murray. He just needs to have a good in-lap, and he's going to be in a very good place. Or even Verke as well might be able to get past the pair of them.
Oh no! Here we go.
Cold tires-ish. Wasn't particularly cold tires, was it?
Well,
just losing it.
If you stop, I mean, when you stop in your pit stall, like I know.
But that was a lap and a half ago.
Yeah, also. I also some massive rear wing damage, so who knows, but I've noticed that when you sit in the pit stall, for example, waiting for a fast repair in some of the rookie series, and then you start, and you don't take, it's better to take tires, because if you don't take them, the tires become stone cold while you're waiting in your pit stall. And that first lap has James Forsdyke with a little bit of an issue with his parking there. So let's see who comes out first of this group. Of course, Gosling looking good to jump all of them, and here he comes. And
Oh, long pit stop though for Gosling, 29.5.
yes.
That could be is that a speeding penalty?
No.
Would have usually a speeding penalty is 15 seconds,
Yeah.
isn't it?
As we
So
know,
that would have had to have been a mega quick.
Ruben van Buell 28 seconds as well. So I don't know, man.
Oh, maybe that's. Can you take tires and fuel simultaneously?
No.
I don't think you can. No. So it's just that is the length of changing tires. So Gosling is still ahead of Forsyth, but only just as Neil Cooper gets past Van Buell. That's quite significant, is it not?
And
Ah,
here
yeah,
we go.
because Van Buell took the longer pit stop, so Van
Yes.
Buell has gone from 4th down to 10th, I believe. That's really cost him bad as Clayson's is in. And Ververke, Murray's up into. Oh, sorry, no, they haven't pitted yet. Apologies. But Murray might be up. Murray might be up into 3rd place after this. He may have gone from 6th to 3rd in this pit stop sequence.
Let's see Clayson's as he starts after just a 17-second flat pit stop. And he
Oh,
will
he's going to be
be,
way ahead, isn't he?
yeah, massively ahead of Gosling, who's just now making his way into Arie Luijendijk-Bocht. But what about Murray and Verwecke?
So here is. So Gosling at least will clear them. Forsyth should. Oh, it could be close. Here comes Forsyth. Just ahead, but most importantly, is he ahead? Oh, he only just is. Crucially, Murray is ahead of Beard and Behait. So that's big for him. That longer first stint has worked out very well. The others tried to come in a bit earlier. I don't know why they decided to do that. Maybe get some clearer instead of hang to the fence. But now Adam Murray is back up into 5th place after dropping as low as 10th earlier on, and he's right on top of James Forsyth. Might even be able to catch up to Paul Gosling as well. So, it's
Oh,
off.
and he's off.
It's actually Beard. Well, he already had a bit of damage. Ververk is going to get past him. Oh no. That was weird, his racing line there. You just seemed to drive off the circuit.
Yeah, he jumped hard on that curb there, which was very surprising. As here comes in all calmness Jack Ashton, and so everyone has stopped so far of the drivers who are still in this race. That gap can't be right? Yeah. Okay.
No, not at the moment. Now it's resetting.
Okay.
They got 18 seconds.
Okay.
Surprisingly, not the biggest gap we've seen. Actually, Beard won by 24 seconds, I think, or 26 seconds at Watkins Glen earlier on in the season. As Murray is past Forsyth, and that is not much of a surprise. That's the way to go, guys. And now Murray needs to go and chase after Paul Gosling.
I have. Oh dear! For the first time, I didn't know this, but I heard a bit of a team radio from the 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix when they asked Mark Webber, multi 1-2, to let Vettel by, during his comeback, and Mark Webber said, "Where is the button? Where is it? I cannot find it." And this apparently drew the ires of Sebastian Vettel, of course, after not only that, but that first corner, second, third corner pile-up, which almost cost him the title, which was, I think, ostensibly in part caused by a very aggressive driving from Webber, maybe, but yeah, made me jiggle a bit. Where is the switch? Where is the button?
He squeezed. Wait, I mean, looking back at it, he didn't squeeze Vettel much, but safe to say he wasn't as generous as what Kovalainen was back in '08 towards Hamilton. He was bending him off like a stick. Was Kovalainen swafting away all those who went near his teammate? A lot of people don't realise and listen to us here because that's the reason why Vettel did it in 2013 Malaysia, purely because Webber did what he did in 2012 Brazil, and it was just evening it out. What stage of the race was that Team Radio then?
Um, don't know. It was raining.
Okay,
Behait and Cooper are still going hard at it. Behait second in his class, as Gosling has of course been jumped by Claessens. And here we go. That's a big dive on the inside, pushing him slightly towards the outside is Neil Cooper. But that's a very good move. Now of course he will have to move to cover the inside. He does so, and Neil Cooper, after a rocky start of the race, is up into 6th place. 2 places gained compared to his starting position, and of course he had a long way to go after spinning out. He was the first casualty of that first lap, spinning and being collected by this guy, Ruben van Buell, who unfortunately had nowhere to go and ran into the back of the 75 car for Fury Simsport. Here we go, Neil Cooper, as we are already entering into the final 15 minutes of this race. And so far this is the closest fight in the field. And of course, Sam, let's use a little bit of this time, still keeping an eye on this great battle, of course, because last week we were at your favorite racetrack in Motegi. And
don't joke about it, Marco. All right, it's a sensitive topic. All right.
Next week we are going to my favorite racetrack, which is of course the Nordschleife. I can already feel the excitement. I'm already dancing on the spot, just thinking about it. A nightmare to race, a nightmare to cover races there, but a big success with the drivers most of the times, and of course big numbers in viewership. So I think drivers will have to be extra shiny and prepared for that very unique event. I think we are doing the VLN configuration, if I'm not mistaken.
The 24-hour layout would make more sense, seeing that it's a few days prior to the.
Yes, but please, that first chicane.
Oh, it's not nice, is it? No. But then, yeah, the VLN. Wait, it's at least, yeah, but with the 24-hour layout, you get to use Dunlop, don't you? Which is you get to use the left-right S and then Dunlop and then the Schumacher S's, which is all pretty cool. So I think that makes up for the silly first chicane. Why did they have to change it back in was it 2001, which they brought in the Mercedes Arena? Why didn't they just keep it the same as it always was? It was so much better back in those days, and then we wouldn't have so many layouts as well.
I think because one of the deciding factor was I think a massive crash at the start of the 1999 Grand Prix there, where Pedro
that was when the
Diniz,
Volvo failed, wasn't it?
yeah, Pedro Diniz flipped at the very beginning of the race, and that was a very scary scene, especially knowing what happened later. I mean, when they realized what happened to the car. I am going through the rule book here, and we will be racing at the Gesamtstrecke 24 hours. So yes, it will be the 24-hour version. So we are skipping the Mercedes Arena, but doing the rest of the racetrack.
Certainly a challenge for the drivers. It was our first ever Nordschleife race in this series last season, actually, and it provided a bit of a crazy result, really. I can't recall who was the bronze driver who absolutely massively overperformed. It was a Brit, I'm sure. and managed to finish in like 11th place, and it was their best result of all time, maybe even in the top 8 perhaps. But I can't recall what driver it was. Few specialists, of course, around that circuit, and it really does mix up the order. Here comes Dries Moosty against Ashley Beard. Jeez, of these guys being in the walls, both with mistakes already in this event, but Moosty has got a much quicker car, it seems, and to be fair, in qualifying, he was quicker anyway, so might be the quicker driver. Have both lost it at the top of the hill already, both lucky to still be going along, especially Mujdi after a big first lap hit as well. Beard, I believe, was involved in, potentially was involved in that one as well,
It was
or maybe he was.
Ryan Walker, I think, in the chat is telling that he won his class last year at the Nordschleife.
I don't think I was thinking of Walker though, because Walker was silver, I believe. I was thinking of a bronze driver. But well done to Ryan anyway. Another specialist, I'm sure. Best of luck to him in the 24 hours.
I am a specialist at the Nordschleife as well.
Sorry, you are?
Yes, I am a specialist at crashing there. But I'm a specialist
yes.
nonetheless, and my work should be appreciated.
You know what though? With the Nordschleife, I would say the best experience you can ever get around the Nordschleife is to crash into every single corner, because if you crash into every single corner, you think, I won't do that again, and you learn and you learn and you learn, and that's how I learn pretty much. Do a practice lap, always almost crash on the first lap, and then you just think, yeah, I've learned something there, and I won't do that again, because it's not totally obvious at first when you go through a corner with the amount of lines you can take. What is the right way to go? So no, certainly mistakes are vague around that check. Probably not best to make the mistakes though during the race. That is a good way to avoid that. We are now riding with Adam Murray, who has caught up with Paul Gosling. What will Gosling's mindset be here, Marco? Will he be thinking this is going to be the best chance to have a podium all season? Potentially for a couple of seasons even, dare I say? Or will he be thinking, I've got the lead in the silver class, I'm happy with a 4th place?
It's going to be on the podium regardless, overall podium or silver podium. I know that, of course, that overall podium is very, 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 very tasty together. So let's see. He has been impossible to pass on the racetrack so far tonight. So we'll see. Because of course he got passed by PJ Claessens because of that extra long stop he had. So let's see. No one has been able to go around him on the racetrack. Let's see if Murray has this in his pocket. Well, that's a mistake that really opens the door to the number 31. And I think, yeah, they're going to be side by side. Here we go.
And here comes Gosling. Should have a cleaner car, so can pull ahead. 6/100ths ahead going into Tarzan corner. However, Murray was still part of his car alongside Gosling with the better exit gain. Just had to get out of the throttle though. And Adam Murray, I'm sure, will be making a racket if you get that pun. I'm sure a few people will. Beard, meanwhile, trying to shave off some tenths of a second. Oh dear. Against Mushti, but Mushti is still very close. By a hair's width, he's ahead.
Going these bans on people who have beard in their name need to be punished. I had to live with them for all my life.
To be fair, Adam Murray is a very good driver. You could say he's the GOAT. Talent. That's what it is. It's talent.
When I was a little kid, of course, since my name means Blackbeard, it was changed by my classmates in every kind of color, and I was super sad, and I really hated my name. But then I came to embrace it, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. Also,
I think it is a superb name,
you know,
personally.
gives away a lot of puns with, you know, pirate flags and the winter is off and Boland goes past him for the lead in the class.
Oh, and
Oh,
off
wow, who's that?
is
Van
Van
Dyke.
Dyke. Oh
Oh, these
no!
bronze
Well,
drivers, no one wants to win the race.
just as it looks as though he might be able to get second place as well, and he's gone hard into the wall. Hasn't broken the engine. It seems like as long as you don't break the engine, these guys will just race on tips a wheel onto the grass. And did a good job there not to over rotate the car. And then behind, the Winter would have undoubtedly been, yeah, he was totally put off. Was looking 100 meters ahead of him rather than 1 meter ahead of him, and just kind of meandered off the track, got onto that base slippery grass once again. Cooper has caught up to Forsyth. Remember, Forsyth with a lot of damage. It has been a great drive from Forsyth. I think one of the best drives. I think Ashton, Clays, and I think him as well have been absolutely superb today, considering the amount of damage that Forsyth has got. However, I think Cooper, even though he's only got a couple more laps to do it, I think he will eventually get that move finished. Beard, though, wants to keep on to the top 10. Wants to keep his championship hopes alive, which will very much still be alive regardless of the finish here. We've still got 4 more rounds of the championship to go, but this championship is very much edging away from the year 1 driver.
Recap time with Ashton leading the way in front of PJ Claessens and Adam Murray in the overall standings with Gosling and Forsdyke here defending hard. At the same time, the recap has to be stopped because these two are side by side once again, and they have been for the past few laps. And it's a oh, look at the crisscross move there by Mujdi. Beautiful stuff.
Beard resisted for a while. He couldn't resist though to the end, and it looks like Jeez Mushti is going to get a top 10, which is the least that he deserves. A podium was possible as Forsyth has been overtaken by Cooper. There you are. It was an ambitious move there from Cooper to pass at that corner. And Neil Cooper, another driver who got that spin on that one too. Fair, that
Oh
spin
dear,
was
what
the best thing
happened?
that could have happened. Oh
They
no,
touched.
Beard has hit Mushti. And is anyone going to get ahead of them? John McConville? No, he's too far behind us, McConville. There he is. And these guys just losing. They hate this section of circuit. That's their third incident here, or second incident here.
As I was saying, fourth place, but leader of the silver drivers. No one wants me to do the recap. Cooper
No.
goes wide. Here comes Forsdyke.
And he can't get past. Well, that was a little bit silly from Cooper, but he gets away with it. 2 laps to go, I think, for him.
In silver, the leader is Paul Gosling, is in front of Kim Behaitu, quietly sitting in second in class. Roy Verweke with a very solid run in front of the aforementioned Dries Mujdi and John McConville, rounding up your top 5 in silver. The bronze drivers, Kevin Bolland leads, will he lead at the end of the race? Who knows, it's been a free-for-all in this class in front of Kevin De Winter and the last runner in this class, Simon van Dijk. Everyone is everyone is within 1 lap or on the lead lap, apart from Nick Schurmans, who is having a little relaxing.
Oh, place also. No.
Yeah.
No worries. Apologies.
He was having a little, not a Sunday drive, a Wednesday drive. Van Dijk is off. This time is for real. Oh, someone is coming. Where
That was on the other side of the track.
we might have a situation just like Brazil 2003, where the third place finisher didn't show up on the podium, at least it will be in the bronze. Alonso was sent to the hospital for a little bit of a control after one of the massive, most massive shunts I can remember in F1 history. One of the best races in F1 history, by the way. Won by my local boy Giancarlo Fisichella, of course.
Yep, the Roman.
Is this the final lap? Yes, it is.
It sure is. 15 seconds to go, and Jack Ashton, as he has been since lap 1, probably the easiest race win he will ever see. As, my goodness, come on, De Winter's off the circuit now, at the same corner. Where is... I think Van Dijk lost so much time. Yeah, Van Dijk's not
Yeah.
close.
Oh, but Boland is around!
No! Oh, come on! Boland's off the circuit, and, well,
Lucky
De Winter's
him.
going to be close enough. But he will still win this race, I think, will Kevin Boland. What a crazy event. In the bronze, in the silver, in the gold, though, it has been comfortable. Cruising across the line is Jack Ashton. He wins his 3rd win of the season. And it was by a massive margin, 17 seconds, but it was a whole lot more comfortable than that. First place out of the bronze drivers is going to be Kevin Boland. He will question how that has occurred, but he takes it by quite a few seconds in the end in his purple and blue BMW. And it's not going to be a podium for Paul Gosling. It looks like it could even be a 2nd place, a long pit stop. Hopefully we'll find out what happened at that pit stop. However, it's still his best ever result in the Simracersworld GT Championship. Paul Gosling, 4th place overall and 1st place out of the silver drivers. Ironically, I've just seen Van Dijk off the circuit again.
Mujdi is off the track.
This is Mujdi. Also, and Bearded then is going to beat Mujdi. That seemed to take a lot of effort for Mujdi to get past, but he's lost it right at the end, and there was Beard, who had already lost a bit of time to him, moving past. And that was a Van Dijk, and honestly, mate, that car was pretty bad beforehand. Wreck it, burn it,
No respect.
and never see it again.
No respect for that car, who has been through a lot. Still, nice look at the sponsors. Wow, this camera is basically zoomed in a million kilometers in.
Yeah.
Because the...
It's a long way from the track.
You did a very realistic job, I'd say, how compared to the original cameras, who are a bit stupid, in my opinion, sometimes. Because, they are sitting in the sky, or, But, in any case, here is your race winner, and in just a second, I promise you, we are going to give you the final race results from this controversial, chaotic, but absolutely enjoyable round of Zandvoort of the Simracersworld Championship. And here we go.
Yes, that's Jack Ashton, who wins out by 22 seconds. Opened up a little bit right at the end there over PJ Clayton's. Good drive as well from Clayton's, to be fair. After starting outside the top 10, that's one of his best finishes of the season, I think, for Clayton's. 3rd place went to Adam Murray. I think that's Murray's first ever podium in the series, so well done to him. Paul Gosling was in 4th, the silver class winner. There's Neil Cooper. Good late drive from him to go from outside the top 10, I believe, before the pit stops to within the top 5. The top 5. James Forsyth with a lot of damage, drove well, ended up in 6th. Kimber Heights, his best result, I believe, in the series, in 7th. There's Ruben Van Buell, Roy Verke, and Ashley Beard finishing a distant 10th. Jeez Moosey with a late spin was in 11th, and the last driver on the lead lap was John McConville. Don't really know what happened to McConville. He was right with that train earlier on, but fell off at some points of the race. One lap down was John Tusting. Didn't see a whole lot of him, and Stephen DeWolf as well, who he spun right at the starts, I believe. Yeah, he spun on the pit start, but still finished in 14th place. Top of the bronze drivers somehow was Kevin Boland. 3 spins, I believe, for Boland, but it was less than his rivals. Kevin De Winter was in 2nd, and Simon Van Dijk in 3rd. And then we get to the retirees. Nick Jones did cross the line, to be fair. He was 10 laps out. He deserves points for the effort he puts in.
Now you are making the rules.
Honestly, come on. Do you disagree with me?
I don't say that he doesn't deserve it. I say that the rules are very important, to quote Gennaro Gattuso. The rule, for me, is very important.
Well, giving points regardless, I say Nick Sherman's good efforts, finishing only 10 laps down. Then it was Lee Woodburn, Hendrik de Grave, Chris Marietta, Thijs Vandenberg, David Fuller, Jeremy Hessels, Joe Janowski. Oh, he started it all as well. Spun on the last corner, of course, that big pile up. Stein Van Buell. What could have been for him? Second on the grid. Bod Boland, Steve Castrop, and Lewis Ward. Pim Bauer, I don't think he even took the start. Lewis Ward, I mean, come on. Former podium driver. The driver who famously got 3 consecutive thirds, then 3 consecutive fourths, then 3 consecutive fifths. And he has had no luck this season.
Sorry, I was about to say he's a more successful version of Ian Roots. Sorry, Ian, we love you.
Oh, wow. Ian, the 11th place boots, would not be pleased with that comment. Dear me. Well, I'm sure we'll be happy with all the comments we lavished at him today. Jack Ashton is with us now in the commentary booth. Congratulations, Jack. That all seems quite simple. Could you believe your eyes when you saw a lap and a half in, you were 12 seconds ahead of the rest of the field?
It was quite a surprise, let's say. I could grasp the fact that Stein was struggling with cold tyres straight from the off. I followed him round on the qualifying first out lap, and he seemed to really take it quite easy with that first lap. So I could tell that was probably a weak point of his, and I knew if I was going to try and get away straight off the bat, I'll try and get a nice jump off the rolling start, which I did. And then cause them to feel like they need to push on from the start, and that's exactly what they tried to do. I think, by the looks of things, I didn't obviously see what happened, but it seemed like they obviously tried to push a bit too hard and caused some kind of incident. Just handed me the massive gap, and then I just coasted it home from there. Really, that's all I can say.
There were many fingers being pointed at whose fault the incident was. Many fingers being pointed at the safety car driver of all people. Apparently, the pace lap was very slow.
It
Did
was.
you feel that at
I
all?
was. Yeah, I was actually saying, "Come on, hurry up," because really, I wanted to have a gap between the safety car and myself so I could get a nice launch. And he was doing about 30 miles an hour on the whole lap, and my tactic is to try and save fuel on that out lap. There's no point trying to rev it and brake and rev it and brake. I'm trying to sit in sixth gear, but it's almost coming to a stall, to be honest, because he was driving that slow. But I don't know how you can pass the blame to the safety car driver as such for the incidents, because I think it's halfway around the lap that all that sort of happened. But yeah, I guess it was a slow pace.
And I mean, now with the championship, you will score quite a few points over your rivals. Of course, Ashley Beard finishing down in 10th. James Forsyth with the damage he got finishing in 6th. So for the first time this season, you got a little bit of a cushion right now. That must feel quite good.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, that was my main concern, looking at who's behind in what position. I knew all I had to do was bring it home for a win tonight. Obviously, halfway round, not before the race, but halfway around the race, I knew I just had to bring it home, and I had the win. So I was just constantly looking to who's battling, and it sort of played into my hands that none of my championship rivals were second, third, if you know what I mean. So it definitely played into my hands quite nicely to give me that extra big cushion for the championship. So yeah, can't go wrong with that. Another no zero incident point race as well, so more bonus points. So hopefully, nice gap for me now. So yeah.
Next up, we head to Nordschleife next week. How are you taking part in the 24 hours, and have you started practicing if you are taking part?
So it's quite funny, really. I've been doing the VLN, so it's been helping. But my problem has been that a few, my Brian Holmes, my teammate, that I've been doing it with, he has been using the BMW, as it is quite good round there, I have to admit. And I've used the BMW with him, but it's not helping for the practice for the Audi, because it is a rather different car to drive around there. But it's given me a good grasp of the track and how it feels and what a GT3 goes like around there and what sort of lap times I should be aiming for. So at least I've got some good practice in hand for that. I've done both of them rounds, and I'll be doing the 24-hour as well. Not sure what car yet, but it gives me some good practice, and hopefully I'll go all right round there. It's a very tricky track. I think it's more of a case of survival round there than it is to be quick, let's say. So yeah, I'll look forward to it. It's certainly an interesting track for a 1 hour race, let's say, but we'll go with it.
Definitely, I'm sure you'll do very well for that one. Jack, before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just thank you guys for the stream. You do a great job. I look forward to seeing it. I guess I probably won't be on it as much as as I'd hope, but yeah, you do a great job, and thanks to Team Fordzilla. Good support from them. And let's shout out my friend Craig as well. He's always watching my live streams and your streams, so I'll give him a shout out as well to say thank you for following us.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Jack. Well done once again today, and best of luck for next week.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
So that was Jack Ashton for Fordzilla Racing, winning out today by a large margin. Marco, we've got a few choices as to who to interview next. Who are you going to have a chat with?
Well, going with the winner in gold, and now we have the winner in silver, which is Paul Gosling. Hello, Paul.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, doing fine, but we think not as happy as you, because you had a fantastic result, win in the silver class, fourth overall. How happy are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty chuffed actually. That was a lot of fun. Obviously, I got a bit lucky at the beginning there, but yeah, no, I had some fun in the first stint, trying to hold off Mr. Cleason's. Yeah, it was a good race. I had a bit of a problem with my crew chief, so rather than fueling to the finish, he fueled me, completely, and that's why I lost some time there. And then I just couldn't quite keep Adam behind me with all that extra fuel I was carrying around. But I'm still pretty happy with that.
So how tough was it around? Because how tough was it out there? Because it looked like you were one of the few drivers who didn't make any kind of mistake, and that's saying something, because I'd say a good 95% of the grid at the end of the race had damage on their car, but you kept it very, very stable on the track, and as you were saying, I mean, you were able to hold off one of the quickest drivers of the series in PJ Clayton. So what was your secret today?
I'm not sure there was a secret really. I did a bit of practicing the last few days. I stopped using racing shoes and now I go barefooted, which just sounds a bit silly. I read an article about Lando Norris doing that, and he was saying he finds it a lot easier. And I just thought I'd give it a try. And after 6 years of iRacing now, first time without shoes, and yeah, I think maybe it's made a little bit of a difference.
Well, for what's worth, I usually drive with my Minion socks on, so they are
Cool.
incredibly stylish. They don't make me any faster, unfortunately, but I couldn't even begin to think to drive with shoes, even if they are racing shoes. I don't know. It's I know some of my very quick friends do it, but I'm already as slow with making direct contact with the pedal. I cannot imagine having the sole of the shoe in between my foot and the pedal will make a disaster. So
yeah. That's what I found. I found regulating the brake and the throttle a bit easier, and it's around a track like this as well. It's really helped.
And of course, keeping it clean and being calm and collected and cool will be key next week at the North Life. What are your thoughts about that race that's coming up?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I recently did a GT4 endurance race through the Simracersworld guys. And it was a lot of fun, actually. Kind of got into the swing of it. You get into the groove after a while. But yeah, it's like you say, trying to keep it clean is the challenge, as well as being fast. And it's a sort of risk versus reward. So we'll see how it goes.
Paul, congratulations once again. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Just the team, Quantum Racing, all the guys. They always help. They will help each other along. We push each other. We have a good laugh doing it. And yeah, so just the guys and Ben, the guy who does the liveries and stuff. It's a good team to be with. I enjoy it.
Awesome, Paul. Thank you very much. Congratulations once again, and we shall catch you in 1 week time.
Okay, thanks guys. Take it easy.
And that was Paul Gosling, then your winner in silver and fourth placed driver overall in what has been certainly a crazy, crazy race. Who do we have next, Sam?
Well, after speaking to the gold class winner and speaking to the silver class winner, we're now going to have a chat with the bronze class winner. Kevin Boland took the race victory, I believe his second race victory in a row in the bronze class. Congratulations, Kevin. You must be feeling delighted right now.
Yeah, over the moon. It's finally going my way. But that race was definitely a hard fought. Kevin definitely made it harder than Monza was, definitely.
Absolutely. There were a few mistakes kind of littered around the track for the three of you, De Winter and Van Dyke as well. How tricky is this Zandvoort circuit, and what corners did you find particularly challenging?
Um, I'm not a massive fan of Zandvoort, but to be honest, I found all the tracks, all the corners challenging. Um, I just didn't have the setup for the track. The car wasn't turning in. So it was just a matter of just trying to keep it clean, keeping on the track, and just try and stay safe, and hopefully just gain some points that way. And that's what I said going into the race. That I was just going to start at the back, just work my way forward. If I gained any places, then yes. But then that big crash happened, and found myself leading my class and up in 12th. So
Yeah, what was the crash like from your perspective? Were you just behind it all, and then you must have had a pretty good view of the aftermath?
yeah, so I come around the last corner as it was like all unfolding. So I saw this gap and I just went for it, and then all of a sudden, like from my point of view, I just saw Lewis land on me, but luckily, thanks to netcode, it didn't do anything to me. So I was like, but it was one of them where you just couldn't see anything. Like I checked up to avoid it, but unfortunately, I don't. A couple of other guys managed to and crashed into it, which was a bit of a shame for some of the people. But sometimes that can benefit me. Just kind of happened.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly did a great job at avoiding it. And in the championship now, you gain a few points on Kevin De Winter ahead of you. You gain a lot of points on James Hobden. I imagine you'll be ahead of him now. Are you thinking about the championship too much at the moment?
Yeah, I'm probably thinking about it too much to be honest, because I keep on going on and working out my the points in the two drop scores. And going into that round, taking off the two drop scores from the top three, it was me and Kevin leading the championship together on the same points. So on because you take off like his lowest scoring points, which me being ahead of him now across the line was definitely going to help me going into the next round at the Nürburgring, I think it is.
Yes. What are your opinions on that circuit?
Well, last season I didn't finish it, and but to be fair, it's one of them. It's um, at the minute I've kind of found my comfort zone in this car. Um, so where the other seasons I've been running either the Merc or the Audi or the Ferrari, and I've just not found any like speed or consistency in them. And I've jumped in the BMW for this season, and to be fair, I'm kind of smashing it. I've took my two drop rounds, so I'm just gonna try and catch Kevin and beat him really
Definitely.
before the
We're
end of the season.
certainly looking very good for it at the moment, Kevin. Best of luck for you for the remaining rounds. Before you say goodbye, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Uh, everyone in the team really, because I've recently switched to year 1, so we're just getting all that sorted out. So everyone from the team that helped me. So yeah, they've helped me quite a bit over the last few days, just trying to get every horsepower out of the BMW that I can get, push me to where I am. So I look forward to working with them for the rest of the season and for any other future events I enter.
Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Kevin. Congratulations on today's win, and best of luck next week.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Marco.
So that was Kevin Boland finishing in 15th place today, top of the bronze drivers. Marco, who are we going to have for our 4th interview?
Let's have a chat with Adam Murray, finishing in 3rd place overall. Hello, Adam. Welcome to the booth.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Looked like a tough one out there. In the end, you were able to get to the podium. How was it from your perspective?
Yeah, lap 1 was a struggle with the cold tyres. I think doing a full lap as the pace lap just makes the tyres so cold. I ended up doing like a bit of pirouette dancing with Dries, I think it was, in the Audi. We both spun in exactly the same place. I think I forced my teammate wide a little bit, which I felt quite bad for. But I think that helped me out in the long run, because when you come around the last corner, there was just that big, that whole, whatever that was, that explosion of cars. It gave me a bit of chance to, pick my line through there. I got rear-ended, actually, as everyone was checking off, but came away pretty much unscathed. I had about 30 seconds of optional repairs at the pit stop, but yeah, the car felt good. So I managed to slowly work my way back through the pack. Yeah, tough race, but good fun.
I saw that jumping on board with you guys, all of you, no one excluded. Especially when you were going over that downhill right-hander over the crest, but in other places of the track as well, even deep in the run with the worn tires. Seems like all of the cars were especially loose, and it was a constant fight against the wheel trying to not spin out. Did you have the same impression from your Mercedes?
Yeah, I think it was less so with the Mercedes, with it being front engines and not mid engines. I think that definitely makes the car a bit more stable. With the track was actually hotter than I expected it to be in our practice, so I took a bit of ring out the rear. So I don't think that helped at all, but it definitely gave me pace. I actually done that in the middle of qualifying. I thought, not much to lose. I think I was down in 13th. I took a clicker wing out and I jumped up to 5th, which was definitely surprising.
Adam, congratulations once again for the podium. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just all the guys at year 1 for motivating me to come on. I definitely wouldn't be on half as much as it wasn't for them. Yeah, everyone at year 1, you guys as well, for doing this stream and doing this commentary. I couldn't do what you guys do. It's yeah, very good quality stream. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, man. Those are great words that really make us happy. Congratulations once again, and we'll catch you next week then.
Yeah, see you next week.
So that was Adam Murray. I just want to ask you, Marco, what accent is that?
That accent, it's something from the north.
Yeah. I mean, north of London. Yeah.
I don't know, Norfolk.
No, although it's similarly north, although culturally much more north than Norfolk. I will tell you after the broadcast.
Okay.
But I will. We're gonna have a really quick word with Kim Bahite. but a very quick word, I'm sure, with Kim, because he did a superb job. 7th place and 2nd out of the silver jars. Congratulations, Kim. First up, take us through that first lap because you must have been right in the middle of all of it.
Hi Sam, hi Michael. Yeah, well, the first lap it was deja vu to Watkins, I would say. Cars all around, 2 big accidents, so I was afraid to get some damage or to get involved, but luckily find a gap and got through it safely.
Yeah, and then after that, you were pretty much in that train from about 4th place down to 9th place. And you were kind of just a stable force in it all. You had a few drivers overtake you, you overtook a few drivers, but you seem to always be in about that 7th place throughout.
Yeah, I was quite surprised also because it's not really it's my first season entering in SRW, so mostly I'm more to the back, so I was quite surprised and just try to find my own pace and keep it safe, don't make any mistakes. So we could stick it through to the end.
Absolutely. Well, well done, Kim. Really good job today. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we say goodbye?
Well, especially to everybody at the SRW, especially it's a really great community. I'm new in it, and I already fell in love with the community. It's really fun. The races, and then you guys for the broadcast, everything. It's really amusing to watch it after the races. So you guys, and especially then my team, Flemish Sim Sports. It's a shame for Hendrik. The last few races he got taken out, unfortunately. So hopefully next race he can push on through to a good finish.
Definitely. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Kim. Well done today, and we bid you the best of luck for Nürburgring on Wednesday.
Yeah, thank you very much. See you later, guys.
So that was Kim the height. Marco, it was a Geordie accent. I'm sure you're
Oh,
on
I
the.
wanted to say that north. Then it was I was right then. He said north of London. I said okay, maybe I'm wrong. Like you mean you were in? No, I knew it was a. I said north, like in big north, like proper north, north
I
in the
mean,
border with Scotland. I mean, you say when
it's
you say
not close to the border. It's a long way away from the border. You can go much more north than near Liverpool. Oh, sorry, it wasn't Geordie. It was. I'm getting all my locations.
okay,
It was Liverpool.
Liverpool.
My
Yeah.
goodness me. Apologies. It was Liverpool, Marco, not Geordie. There we go.
I'm
Oh my
thinking
god.
about the word. What is the word? Oh dear.
Scouser?
Scouser. Yes.
There you go. Yeah. I was going Jordan Scouser. Confused. My goodness, I should leave this island that we call the UK immediately. Not that I can. Well, next week, Marco, we are heading to North Schleifer, like we have spoken a little bit before. Ashton, has he got the momentum now? 4 rounds to go. He's got a handy advantage in the championship. Is it his to lose now with the lack of points that his rivals scored today?
Yes and no, because the Nordschleife, you have the Nordschleife, which is a tough track to deal with and has tricks at every corner. And secondly, because specialists, of course, are always out there to play, and you will see some surprise names up front. So, in a sense, yes, and in a sense, no. If he can survive the next round, you could make a case, and survive means finishing with a good chunk of points home. Brought home, you can really make a case for him having one hand on the trophy. That being said, again, it's an Arch Life, so anything can happen, and probably will. That's in 1 week's time. Let me remind you that at 23 GMT, you will have the FRP iRacing Challenge live from Lime Rock Park. Then 1 hour later, at midnight GMT, the AMPE series sponsored by Discovery Parts and OMP. Then tomorrow at 6:15 GMT. Team Hard iRacing League without financial. That's going to be round 5 at Ulton Park. And after that, we will have the Isolation April Dallara F3 Championship. That will actually start 15 minutes later, so that will be at 6:30 GMT from Barber, and also at 7 GMT. Boy, the stuff we have going tomorrow. We are going to have the Apex Racing League ARLTC from Imola. So that's going to be a busy, very, very busy Thursday of racing on Apex Racing TV. On Friday, the Kokoro Invitational Series Round 1. That will be at 6:45 GMT. And then, of course, a maxi Saturday with Road to Indy, Euro V8s from Lime Rock, and of course, the Formula 3.5 Championship. And of course, then massively busy Sunday with the usual suspects like Aussie Mixed and Fixed and Apex Racing GT, but also Simracersworld Enduro Round 5, the penultimate of the season. That will be from Silverstone. Certainly a lot to look forward to. And let's make our social media manager Dane Baird very, very happy by telling you to take a look at our Facebook page, our YouTube page, of course, which if you would subscribe there, we would be very, 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 very glad. We also have all other kinds of social media. You can follow us almost everywhere, and you can make sure you don't miss any of our broadcast. If you want to join us, we would be very, very glad. Sam, take it away.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Then hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and yeah, please do leave a like on it if you have. Check out all those broadcasts that Marco was talking about. If you are subscribed to the Esports Network already, do check out particularly our Esports Network commentaries. Of course, next tomorrow on Thursday, AOLTC, Aussie Mixed and Fixed on Sunday morning. And then also World GT on Monday as well. And of course, be back with us next Wednesday for round 9 of the Dynamics Sim Racers World GT Championship from the Nordschleife. You do not want to miss it. It is going to be an epic race, I am sure. But for now, from me and from Marco, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.